Okay, so this is lesson 2 for Wordly Wise. I'm going to go through kind of quickly. I want you to take notes on what you hear. I'm not going to write anything because I want you to practice the skill of listening to what you hear and taking notes. But you can see on my version that I've taken notes all the way through. And so yours should look something like this when you're done. So listen carefully and take notes. And if you have to press pause as much as you need to. So the first word is pronounced abrasion. And it's a wearing away or rubbing away by friction or a scrape or worn area. So something that is abrasive would be sandpaper. Write that down, sandpaper. Concrete is abrasive. So that's why when you fall and you rub your knee on concrete, you get a scratch. If you fall onto tile, your knee doesn't get an abrasion because tile is not abrasive. So those are the two forms of the word abrasive and abrasion. The second word is clad, and clad is kind of a, I guess, sophisticated way of saying you're wearing something. He was clad in a robe. We were all clad in the school colors. And here, I'm going to toss this in for you. It's not part of it, but it's kind of fancy. And if you are wearing shoes, if you're wearing clothing, you're clad. If you're wearing shoes, you're shod. It's just kind of fun to know. Like, horses are shod in horseshoes. Anyway, whatever. The next word is corroborate. To corroborate is to add evidence or provide evidence to make more certain or to confirm. So you corroborate somebody's story. So someone says, hey, Mr. Pump pushed me down in the hallway. And I'd be like, what? That sounds weird. And you go like, wait a minute. You know, Amy can corroborate it. And she says, yeah, Mr. Pump knocked me over in the hallway. That's like never going to happen. But if it did, you'd certainly want someone to corroborate that story because it's totally weird and he would never do that. Just saying. Okay, the next word is cursory. Done in a hurry with little attention to detail. So let's say you studied really hard for a test and you're really very, very prepared. But before the teacher comes into the classroom and hands out the test, you might want to go over your notes in a cursory fashion just to real quickly go through them. It's not how you want to study for a test. You don't want to study in a cursory fashion unless you've already mastered the material, because cursory is just sort of like over really quickly, kind of like what I'm doing now with the vocabulary. Okay, to dehydrate is to take the water out of. Now this is where we can do a little mini lesson really quickly on Greek and Latin roots, because hydra means water. So dehydrate is to take the water out of. To hydrate is to put the water into. And you can think of other words that have hydra in it, like a fire hydrant. And those are the red metal things that hang out on various corners near your house in case there's a fire. Because then the firemen will get water from there. It's a hydrant. You get it? See how that works out? So now you can use that to figure out other words that have hydra in it. You'll know from now on that hydra has something to do with water. Okay. The next word is to derive, to take or receive from a source. This is a little bit more of an abstract-ish sort of word, to obtain through reasoning. Okay, so you can derive satisfaction from something. I derive great satisfaction from teaching. Kids learn. I see their growth over time. I am taking or receiving great satisfaction from that. Or you can derive an answer in mathematics through various reasoning, or in science through reasoning. So it's a little bit, that's a tough word. So I would definitely star that one. It's one that you just have to study, look at the examples in the book about it, and really try to listen for that word as it's used in school, in media, and so forth, and try to internalize that one. It's a little bit harder. Okay, the next word, I can't see this here, electrify. Okay, well, let's start with the easy part of that. Electrify is like if electricity comes into your body from, like, you put your finger in the plug, the electrical outlet, which is really not a good idea at all. And that would electrify you. But it can also be, so that's just electric power coming into something. You can electrify a cord, you could electrify a light source or something like that. But people can also get electrified, thrilled or shocked. Like, yo, I'm so excited. Oh, no school tomorrow, snow day. I'm electrified. You could be electrified then. would be. I am. Okay, fine. I am. I said it there. Endeavor is the next word, and to endeavor is to try something earnestly. Try making a really kind of sincere effort. You make a real endeavor. You're putting in a lot of energy and a lot of effort. So that is to endeavor or an endeavor. It's a noun and verb. You can have, you can endeavor to climb a mountain, and your endeavor could be successful or not, and that's the various forms, the verb and the noun form. Okay, the next word is gingerly. Gingerly means cautious and very careful, with extreme care or concern. So you would take a sliver out of somebody's hand gingerly so that you don't accidentally pinch their skin. You might, what's something else we do gingerly? Gently. Gosh, I don't even have an example here. You might, if you had been burned and you were taking off your Band-Aid, and you would take it off very gingerly so that you don't hurt yourself any more than you need to. So carefully and slowly and with great concern. Okay, grimace is easy enough because grimace is like a yucky face. It expresses pain, disgust, or contempt. I'm kind of a big grimacer, which is why I have this very unfortunate wrinkle right here now that I'm 46 years old. It's kind of a bummer. So maybe you should not grimace so much. Just saying. Because your face will stick that way. I remember my grandmother saying my face would stick that way, and I had no idea what she meant. She said, don't make those faces. Your face will stick that way. Well, now I know what she means, because really, look at that. See, it's how it kind of sticks that way a little bit. Yeah, so grimacing is that face, that. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, you're welcome. I bet you just froze it on me making that face and then laughed at it and showed your mom. I bet you just did that. Thanks a lot. Okay, gruesome is disgusting. Blood, guts, vomit, and spit are all the examples that I wrote down of gruesome. And I do believe that with Halloween coming up, we try to avoid gruesome costumes around here at Parkview, the bloody ones, the like oozing ones, because it scares the little kids. So you're in a K-8 building and it's got its benefits, but it also has its problems, and so you need to avoid gruesome costumes. The next word is inventory. It's a list of possessions or goods on hand. So if I wanted to know, I might count the books in the back of the room and take an inventory. Do I have enough this year? Because if I have 46 kids one year and 52 kids the next, I have to take an inventory of the goods on hand. Okay. Okay. I'm sorry, my computer keeps going black on me. Okay. So it's a list of your stuff. If you want to be really general about it, it's a list of what you got. That's your inventory. Okay, it can also be the act of making the inventory, the act of making the list, like I need to inventory my books. So it's a verb or a noun. And simulate. AstroTurf simulates real grass. It pretends. You can also simulate an experience, a video game. A lot of you play video games. You simulate all kinds of things, like riding in an what do you call it? Flying an airplane, driving a car, in some cases shooting, which, by the way, let's get back to gruesome, because I've seen some of these shooting games that some of the children play, and blood will splatter onto the screen, and that, my friends, is gruesome. So you are simulating something gruesome. And who knew that that was going to be important in your English lesson? And there you go. And succumb is to give in or give up or flat out die. If you succumb to an illness, that's it. That was your last illness. You succumb to it, you died. Yeah. Or you could just give up. Like you could succumb to peer pressure. People are like, come on, everyone's doing it. And you're like, oh, okay, I don't want to be left out. Thank you very much. You just gave in to peer pressure, you succumb. So you don't want to do that. Unless it's like not that big of a deal. Like go off the diving board. Okay. That's not a big deal. But, there's some peer pressure things you should not succumb to. Drugs, alcohol, driving badly, driving on the top of a car or something. That's just a really bad idea. Don't succumb to that. You say no. You just say no. Blame me. Say Mrs. Katz would kill me if I made such a bad choice. So I'm not doing it. I would, but Mrs. Katz, she won't let me. I'll totally take the hit for you on that. I will stand by and be like, yeah, I said no. Okay. So don't succumb to peer pressure for scary stuff. And then the last one is surmise. And a surmise is really close to a guess. It says to suppose something without sufficient evidence, a guess. So if everybody was not here and the bell rang, I would surmise that, you know, PE ran late and that you guys lost track of time and that you'll be coming soon. I could be wrong about that, but that would be a pretty good guess. If you don't show up to fourth period on time and nobody's here on time, or there was an assembly and I totally forgot about it. Something like that. All right, now that's it. That was lesson 2. Peace out, M-Town.